can't have an expert one versus a beginner.
Jboy does not really have access to Phoenix. He didn't get the kit for his home machine, and I believe he's been playing more TTR lately when he goes to actual arcade.
Okay.
So it's lucky for him he got the song he knows in the pool.
I think that's sort of the one of the amusing things, seeing the titles from all the players, and then you just see like these well-known players and it's just beginner.
So this is going to be my run through the Big Deal 5 Pump It Up tournament that happened last week.
Beginner title selectable because people wanted to get beginner title even after acquiring new titles. Because it's funny.
Have to go back to the basics.
It's a good way to hide your actual skill.
That is true.
Coming through the beginning of pools, we weren't particularly worried about being eliminated, but it is still important to play well and go ahead and get good scores for seeding purposes.
What a wonderful remix. I love it.
As the commentators mentioned already, I was lucky to pull 3 Banya songs right at the beginning here, so the first round was very, very old charts for me.
Very streamy 19.
I don't really like this remix. I can't really put my finger on why, but I
Let's see
don't
the results in the pool so far.
like this remix.
We have T million in first place with 2,964,000. Then in second goes
We had one song warm up, so I just let Paranoia Boy pick whatever he wanted to play.
Cable Arthur with 2,930,000 in third place. Then goes Diala, Mina, Tommy Does Not Miss, Brock, and Spoon Papi who gave up. So I guess we will not count this
The chart's
score.
totally fine. There's nothing wrong with this chart. I think both of us were very, very concerned about oversensitive arrows on this pad, so you'll see both of us pick up a lot of goods and bads throughout this entire set. Mostly because we're trying to turn everything and be very consistent about getting perfects, and that makes a lot of overhits.
Okay.
Because 8 players proceed to the next round.
Yeah, so it's sort of a given at this point. Who moves on?
Yeah, considering the results.
Regardless, I still think I did a pretty good job. Back when I was in practice, I would have stood maybe a 50% chance to try and PG all 3 songs, minus some pad errors. As it is, I think I get greats on every song, but they're all pretty close.
Very strong. Superb even.
I do have to register my objections to this camera angle, though, because you can definitely see the part in the back of my hair where it's starting to go.
Picked up a grade or 2.
Usually nobody's tall enough to see back there, but from this camera angle you can definitely see that part of my hair.
Especially on these lower BPMs.
Not happy about it.
After a 19.
Yeah. Just a small warm-up.
Yeah, and warming up on a 19 to then play a 17, 18, 19. I let Tony pick whatever he wanted to do, but that's weird. If I remember correctly, this was a 15 for years and years and years.
+5, just for funsies, and then couldn't understand why he was getting all the grades.
Oh, there was a thing in chat. I had talked about trying to troll people by going to a tournament one last time and just playing on JT plus 5 the whole time just to be annoying. But it doesn't really work in a gauntlet format. It just makes me worse, and it doesn't annoy anybody except the one person I'm playing with, so I did back off of that.
Let's go, let's see the masterclass.
I hope they turn.
I hope so too.
It feels so nice when you do the turns on this.
Synchronized turns. Yeah.
One thing that I do notice is the AV between the two. Paranoia Boy, the notes are just flying in comparison to Jboy.
Yeah. Jboy usually is pretty slow.
Yeah, I just don't need it that fast, especially for turn songs. I can't see as fast as most people, and I just don't, you know, like I say, it's a 15.
From the fourth.
I don't need it that fast. Since we got all old songs, I actually was thinking about doing it the old way and just playing the whole thing with my hand on the middle, the way that we used to do it in like 2006. But I'm too old to be doing no bar anymore, so that basically would require me having to play no bar most of the time, and I just don't feel like it.
Well, Paranoia Boy is going very strong. I'm not sure I've seen any grades on his side.
I don't believe so.
Well, I do have to do one just to make the point.
Pretty chill end here. Not
Yeah.
to worry too much. There we go.
Jboy decided to do the old school thing at the very end.
I'm glad
Oh, they were two grades.
Haru was around to at least appreciate how old it is to do that.
Score on both sides. 998 from Paranoia Boy
I definitely-
and 989 from Jboy.
Definitely appreciate the commentary team being on point. I think this is Haru and Katie Waver, I think.
Can definitely say they're.
And we do get
I
some more
think
commentators
probably
later on in the
making it
weekend,
out the
but
pool.
they definitely kept rotating some very knowledgeable people through there, kept a lot of
Out of all players in this pool, and Jboy third, I think.
kept a lot of just keeping the chat together with what's going on. As mentioned, I wasn't particularly worried about getting eliminated here, but it becomes a pride thing at some point. If just, no, I'm gonna do better than Tony
Getting
because,
those stretches in.
you know, we're here. I need to
Always hydrate
combat
when
people
you
all the time.
do physical activities.
And of course, both of
And
us
if you need more
start on our
energy,
Iaido
consider
now that we've
eating
looked
Red
at the
Bull
solitary
because
guy
Red
with
Bull
his
gives you
katana
wings,
out.
And it's very useful on charts like Blazing D21.
I probably should have grabbed the Red Bull before I started.
Competitively drawing swords.
We have another chart. We're gonna see some very cool footwork from both players.
Yeah, let's hope to see more twisty runs here.
So this is old, but it's not as old as the song. This was added much later, but still a very long time ago by modern standards. So I had
Get it- do
lots
your
of practice on this.
It's just so satisfying to see people doing turns simultaneously.
As I say, when I was back in practice, there was a bounty of 20 bucks if you could manage to PG all three of the songs for this round. And I probably would have been about 50-50 to get it if I had been back in
Here
practice.
comes the big twisty run.
As it is, not even close. I get grades on every song because I'm just not doing it properly. Playing too much DDR recently and the timing is too different.
footwork on both ends. Gotta do
Somewhere later in the tournament, I do start to play on JT-3 just because I'm not really happy with the sync on the cab.
And here we get to relax. Hopefully they get the last bracket. There we go. Nice.
I mean, that is part of why I read it so
Gotta do the
slowly,
fist bump.
is so that I can read the annoying stuff like that sideways jump.
998 on Paranoia Boy's side and 994 on Jboy's side.
Definitely pretty sad to not triple S the first song, and
Yeah,
frankly not
Paranoia
triple
Boy
S plus
only got
this one,
band
but
and nothing else.
I know it's
But
enough, so
Jboy
it's
kept
not
the
really
full
worth
combo
fighting.
with only 3 grades and 3 goods.
Oh, that's definitely not Katie Waver on commentary
Yeah, they
because I
definitely
see her
staying
right
in
there.
this pool, that's for sure.
Okay, I apologize to whoever the other commentator is. I have mistaken you. It might be DomiGame. I know she was over there at some point. My apologies for misidentifying her.
More fancy footwork.
I'm fully expecting an FPC from Bottle on this.
Because of how rough the ending is, PG on this is a little bit less trivial than those first two. Being able to do the 30-second note things in the final turns are actually pretty rough and still stay in the perfect window.
Well, they've had more than enough time to study it then.
Jboy turned on full zero mode. Let's use hands.
By this point, I didn't trust the pad to do turns anymore.
Muscle memory, just go with it. Don't try to fight it.
So I start sliding right from the very beginning here. And it doesn't really work out, but, you know, it's good enough.
It's better than Phantom with the centers. You can foot switch or you can turn and it works both ways.
Both players here.
Also, I'm afraid my shirt looks a little bit short.
Any goods or grades?
No, they're great.
This is what I get for gaining weight.
So both of them on track, up.
Ow. Jboy got a good.
The commentator's curse. Still, we have a combo on both sides.
Work hard for me, give me all your money, etc. It is pretty silly that I go to a Phoenix event and end up playing. My first set is all stuff from, I guess, Fiesta and before.
It's time to rust up before the rest of the chart comes.
I think Jboy lets the hold go slightly early.
I think it was a miss on the middle arrow right after that, which is weird because I felt like I should have hit it, but that's okay.
Combo break on the other side. Very clean play.
Very clean. Both of them kept up on that. Yep, only one miss on both.
995 from Paranoia Boy.
Yeah, so pretty safely through for both of us. We knew that nobody was going to be in any real danger of getting knocked out here, but like I say, it's kind of a pride thing, and that goes 3-0 to Paranoia Boy. He gets me on all three of them by Phoenix scoring. I think at least that one and maybe one more I would have won on classic scoring, but that's not the game we're playing anymore, and I've got to keep that in mind. I'm going to come back with some more of these videos. I promise they get more exciting. But I'm very excited to bring these to people because some really cool stuff happened here, and I don't know how many more tournaments I'm going to go to. So it's nice to just document these as much as possible. That's a nice set. More to come. Keep your eyes here all week. We're going to have lots more of these because this was a long tournament. Bye for now.